Hey, Infidelity Love Lies fam, you won't believe this. Seriously, grab a drink, settle in, because I'm about to dump everything. This isn't some ancient history from a grandma's journal. This literally just blew up in my face. I'm Maggie, I'm 34, and my entire world just imploded. Like, spectacularly. It started with a click, not a loud bang. No, just that tiny, insidious sound of a message notification on Lucas's phone. It was face down on the nightstand, innocently glowing. He was asleep beside me, calm, breathing evenly. Oblivious. My heart. It was doing a full-on drum solo against my ribs. I knew somehow deep in my gut that this was it. That chilling premonition. You know your stomach drops, your hands get clammy. Mine were. They trembled as I reached for it, fingers hovering over the screen, already dreading what I'd find. And there it was. Bam. Gut punch. A photo. Intimately, sickeningly clear. Lucas, my Lucas, tangled up with another woman, Elena, in what was unmistakably a hotel room. My stomach lurched, and the text. It was just brutal. Your husband belongs to me now. You're just his old habit. The air just left my lungs. Poof, gone. My phone clattered to the hardwood, bouncing once, then just silence. Deafening, crushing silence. But that image seared into my brain. His smile, that damn smile he used to give me now, plastered on his face, leaning into her. Elena. It was her. My old college classmate. That name, it just echoed cold and sharp. I swear the dread spread like ice through my veins. You remember Elena from back in the day? The one with the vibe always orbiting guys who were already taken like a dark star. I always kept my distance. But Lucas. My Lucas. How the hell did he fall into her trap? Everything felt wrong. The quiet hum of the fridge, usually comforting, felt like a mocking roar. The city outside a blur of indifference. Only that image, that text, that burning rage inside me existed. He walked in the next evening, back from his business trip. The smell of cheap hotel soap and some cloying sweet perfume hit me first. He looked tired, yeah, a bit bloodshot, but there was this new guarded look in his eyes, like he was hiding something huge. He saw me sitting on the sofa, a bottle of our anniversary whiskey open on the coffee table, half empty. My gaze locked onto his, unwavering. He cleared his throat. Rough trip, Maggie, long flights. His voice was too casual, too forced. It grated on every single nerve. Rough trip. My voice sounded like a stranger's hollow detached. Or maybe a very intimate one. My trembling hand pointed to my phone, still face down on the floor. His eyes darted to it. His face went blank. Utterly, terrifyingly blank. The color drained, leaving him ghostly pale. Then he looked at me again, and for a split second I saw it resentment. Like I was the one who had done something wrong. Can you believe the audacity? Why, Lucas? The words tore from me, raw, ragged, tasting like ash and betrayal. After all these years, after everything. That question just hung there heavy. 10 years. 10 years of my life, my unwavering loyalty, my youth poured into his existence. All the quiet nights, the plans, the comfortable routines, the silent understanding we'd built, it all just dissolved. Just like that. He took a deep, shaky breath, and then he said it. The words cold and sharp, like shards of glass. You're boring, Maggie. Every single syllable was a hammer blow to my heart, just chipping away at everything I was. Elena makes me feel alive. Alive. The word just echoed hollow, empty in our home. So I was just existing. A habit. An old, dull habit. And she? The woman in that photo, the one who sent those venomous words, she was life. In that moment, it wasn't just my world that tilted. It shattered into a million tiny, irreparable pieces. My mind, usually so logical, felt suffocated. But through that haze of pain, one thought solidified cold and hard as concrete. There was no coming back from this. Our ledger was irrevocably unbalanced. My decision was instant, decisive, born of a pain so deep it bypassed tears entirely. I would not be his habit. I would not be his safe zone while another woman was his passion. The next morning, my hand steady despite the tremors deep inside, I called a lawyer. And that, my friends, is how my story officially ended. Or so I thought. The full, horrifying truth, it was still lurking. The silence that followed was mine. It was empty, yeah, but it was also defiant. The divorce. A blur of paperwork, hushed calls with Sophie, my best friend, my ride or die. An endless night staring at the ceiling of a house that felt both achingly familiar and utterly alien. But Lucas's words, "You're boring," they just stuck like a cruel splinter. Was I really that dull? Had I truly missed some vital spark in myself, the me who sat across from that divorce lawyer, hands clenched tight with someone completely new, trying to reconcile my present devastation with a past I was now questioning entirely? How could I have been so blind? This question, a relentless whisper in my mind, haunted me for weeks after Lucas's chilling confession. And to really get why I was so blindsided, you have to understand the beginning. You see, Lucas wasn't just some guy. He was the guy who pursued me for a decade. 10 years. Can you even imagine? It feels like another lifetime, a story from a younger, softer me who still believed in grand romantic gestures and the power of relentless love. I was 24 when Lucas started. Fresh out of college, super introverted, totally focused on my new accounting job. I was a creature of habit, honestly perfectly content in my quiet world of numbers and logic. Lucas, he was 2 years older, worked in a different department full of charm and this persistent, almost relentless optimism. He saw me, truly saw me, in a way most guys hadn't. He first asked me out at the company picnic under this old oak tree, shy smile. I politely declined. "I'm not really looking for anything right now, Lucas," I said, barely a whisper. He just smiled this genuinely endearing smile and said, "That's all right, Maggie. I'm a patient man. I can wait." And wait he did. He asked me out again, and again, and again. Not in a creepy, aggressive way, never demanding. Just this quiet, unwavering consistency that honestly was astonishing. 9 times over 10 years, he offered coffee, dinner, movies, long walks in the park. 9 times I gently, consistently said no. Not because I disliked him, not because I found him unattractive. It was just my heart. It's a cautious thing. Doesn't get swayed easily. I dated other guys' sure, fleeting connections that never quite stuck. Gentle currents that just flowed past without leaving a mark. I was always true to myself, true to my feelings, which were rarely strong enough for anything profound. I wasn't playing games, I was just reserved. A deep well that took time to fill. A complex equation that needed careful consideration. And Lucas apparently was willing to wait. Willing to diligently add to that well drop by patient drop. Then came the 10th time. Valentine's Day. I was 34, still a bit of an old soul, maybe a little wiser, more open to the world, less afraid of the unknown. We were at the daily grind. Our favorite little cafe, mismatched chairs, that amazing roasted beans smell, soft chatter. We'd been going there for years, just as friends, sharing quiet moments over mugs of lukewarm tea. I remember holding that warm mug, the soft light from the window, feeling content. Then the door chimed and in walked our families. Sophie, his closest friends. A whole crowd of smiling faces. My heart just hammered. Before I could even process it, he was down on one knee. Velvet box. He started talking about his unwavering love, his 10 years of patience, a future he couldn't imagine without me. He wasn't just asking me to marry him. It was this grand public declaration, a testament to his devotion. The cafe just erupted, applause, cheers. Tears welled in my eyes. How could I say no to that? To such sincerity, to a man who had loved me so consistently, so openly for so long, who had waited with such unwavering faith, I said yes. And in that moment standing there, I truly believed I was saying yes to the most sincere, most steadfast man I would ever know. I believed he was my destiny. 2 years into that marriage, that perfect symphony started to sound a little off. The first discordant note hit at Lucas's company Christmas party. Amidst the festive lights and forced cheer, there she was. Elena, my old college classmate, the one I'd always instinctively avoided, the one with that reputation. Whispers of sugar baby, a definite penchant for men with wedding rings. My stomach just tightened. What in the actual hell was she doing here? Lucas introduced her so casually, new colleague, big project consultant. Her smile was a little too wide, her eyes a little too bright. I plastered on a professional smile, but inside, this tiny, uneasy knot started to form. I dismissed it, of course. Just a professional connection, a coincidence. Oh, if only I had seen those tendrils of poison already snaking their way into our lives even then, masked by polite smiles and innocent introductions. The insidious part wasn't the outright betrayal, not at first. It was this slow, agonizing erosion of everything I thought I knew about Lucas, about us. And behind it all, I now realize, was Elena, a puppeteer pulling strings I didn't even know existed. Her methods chillingly precise, a masterclass in psychological manipulation. Sophie later helped me piece it together. Elena started by infiltrating his professional life. She presented herself as his intellectual equal, his peer in ambition. She'd talk about work, about aspirations, about the corporate ladder. All the stuff Lucas knew I, the quiet accountant, rarely engaged with on his level. It was this subtle wedge driven expertly between us, creating an intellectual divide where none had existed. She made herself indispensable not just to his projects, but to his ego. And then the poison. Slow, careful doses. Maggie is sweet. Lucas would tell me Elena said to him, her voice smooth as silk, dripping with feigned sympathy, but too safe, too plain. She never really pushed you. You have so much more potential. Oh, the absolute gall of it. Safe. Plain. Was that all I was after, dedicating every ounce of my quiet, earnest love to him? Elena knew exactly how to tap into Lucas's unspoken desires, his frustrations. She latched onto his insecurities, his longing for something more, something exciting, something beyond our comfortable home. She painted me as the anchor, the one holding him back, a cozy weight preventing him from truly soaring. And then she twisted the knife even deeper, subtly, effectively, into his perception of our shared history. Back in college, she dated other guys before giving you a chance. Maybe you were never her first choice. She wasn't lying, exactly. I had dated other people before Lucas, but her delivery, her implication was pure venom. It planted this seed of doubt in his mind, making him question the very sincerity of my eventual acceptance, the decade of his devoted pursuit. She weaponized his own past vulnerabilities, his long wait against me, suggesting his extraordinary patience was just a pathetic fallback. Lucas, who I genuinely believed was so steadfast, so unwavering, he just drank her words. Like a parched man at a poisoned well, he started seeing me through her eyes, through the lens of her carefully crafted narrative. I became the safe zone, the predictable, comfortable space he could retreat to, but never truly soar within. Elena, on the other hand, was the passion zone, the thrilling, dangerous, alluring woman who understood his drive, who challenged him, who made him feel, as he so cruelly put it, alive. His work trips became more frequent, his excuses more elaborate. I remember accidentally seeing that text from E on his phone. Can't wait for Tuesday. Kisses. It sent a shiver down my spine, but I dismissed it. I clung to my denial. Surely it was a harmless flirtation, a professional joke, anything but the truth. He started to view our quiet evenings, our shared meals, my gentle affection, not as comfort, but as complacency. My introverted nature, once something he found endearing, became boring. My stable career plain. The man who had once knelt and pledged his endless devotion was now seeing me as an obstacle to his undefined Elena-fueled potential. It was this slow, agonizing process to witness, to feel the emotional distance grow, the intimacy die, replaced by a cold, hollow space between us. It was like watching a beautiful painting slowly being defaced, stroke by agonizing stroke. The vibrant colors fading, the intricate details smeared. And the artist of this destruction was Elena. I truly thought then that losing him was the deepest pain I would ever know, the ultimate betrayal. But what I was yet to discover was that Elena's web extended far beyond our marriage, a chilling testament to her true nature, and a bitter twist Lucas absolutely had coming. The ink on the divorce papers was barely dry, but the weight that lifted from my shoulders, massive. It was a hollow freedom, yeah, a stark, painful emptiness, but freedom nonetheless. The year that followed was this strange mix of quiet healing and deliberate rebuilding. I threw myself into work, finding solace in the logical patterns of numbers, the predictable certainty of a balanced ledger. I rediscovered forgotten hobbies. I took long walks along the river, feeling the cool breeze on my face, reconnecting with parts of myself I'd neglected during all those years of devotion to Lucas. Sophie was there, my absolute rock. A quiet, steadfast presence, a listening ear, a shoulder to cry on, never judging, just supporting. She helped me repaint our small house, purging it of all the ghosts, transforming it into a sanctuary for just me, a place where I could finally truly breathe. It was during this period of quiet recovery that Sophie, fueled by this almost fierce protective instinct, went digging. She'd quietly leveraged her network, piecing together whispers and rumors from our college days, cross-referencing names, following trails I would never have thought to pursue. She even talked to some of the guys from our cohort who'd had strange financial woes after college. What she uncovered was a revelation that chilled me to the bone, a predatory pattern that painted Elena in an even darker, more calculated light. Elena wasn't just a homewrecker, she was a professional, a master of deception, a sugar baby extraordinaire who had preyed on vulnerable, often married men for years. Sophie found evidence. Guys who had been caught in messy public scandals because of her, their lives and reputations utterly ruined. Others Sophie discovered had been financially obliterated, their businesses crumbling under the weight of debts Elena had expertly manipulated them into. She had a knack for finding men who, like Lucas, had something to lose, and then meticulously extracting it, leaving them hollowed out and broken. She was a leech, a predator, a meticulously cruel architect of ruin. Lucas wasn't the first, and he certainly wouldn't be the last. Then 1 year after the divorce. My phone. It had been silent from Lucas for months, but it buzzed. An unfamiliar number. My heart leaped a mix of apprehension and this strange, morbid curiosity. A tiny wounded part of me deep down still wondered if he would ever feel remorse if the man I had loved for so long was truly gone. I answered. And it was him, Lucas. His voice was thin, reedy, almost unrecognizable. Gone was the cold indifference. Instead, it was tinged with this desperate, pathetic fragility, an almost childlike plea for help. Maggie, he choked out, his voice cracking barely a whisper. It's Lucas. I just stayed silent, listening, waiting. There was no joy in his misery, only this quiet, weary recognition of how swiftly fortunes could turn. She stole everything from me, Maggie. He continued, a torrent of words spilling out, a desperate, pathetic confession. She maxed out my credit, borrowed under my name, got me fired from my job. I'm $50,000 in debt now. I need help. Please, Maggie. You're the only one I can turn to. His desperation was just palpable. His voice laced with raw, unvarnished fear. The man who had dismissed me as boring and found life with another was now at rock bottom, stripped bare by the very woman he'd chosen over me. The irony. Oh, it wasn't lost on me. It was a bitter, poignant symphony of consequences playing just for me. My mind replayed his cold words, the intimate photos, the decade of his supposed devotion crumbling at the first temptation. A profound calm settled over me, a peace born of hard-won experience. There was no anger left, no lingering resentment, just a deep, abiding sense of weary wisdom. My voice when it came was steady, devoid of emotion, a cool, clear stream cutting right through his desperate plea. You made your choice, Lucas. I said, every word weighted with the truth of his actions. Live with your consequences. Goodbye. And with that, I hung up. And then, without a single moment's hesitation, I blocked his number. The chapter was truly, finally, irrevocably closed. Forever. This, guys, this whole mess. It was a journey I never asked for. A path paved with heartbreak, disillusionment, and the bitter taste of betrayal. But it was also the moment I truly understood the profound power that lies in choosing yourself. It's that moment you realize that some loves, even those that chase you, for a decade they can crumble. At the first temptation. And when they fall hard. And when they do, your job isn't to catch them. Your job is to recognize your own strength, to hold your head high, to gather the scattered pieces of your life and to just keep walking. It's about rebuilding not just a house but a life, a future, on foundations stronger than any fleeting passion. It's about finding a peace that no external force can ever shatter. So, Infidelity. Love Lies fam. What's the biggest betrayal you've ever faced, and how did you find the strength to move on? Drop your stories in the comments below. Let's talk about it.